Okay, have you recorded?
Yes, sudah.
Okay. All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, students. I hope we all be all right, yeah, in this afternoon class. Thank you so much for PJ and the vice of PJ for preparing the class today, for facilitating our afternoon class today. Well, in this meeting, our topic is about preparing English successful presentation. Yeah, this topic will be very useful for you all because this is the first step. Yeah, how to prepare successful presentation, especially for English. Yeah, because I believe that most of you, yeah, are preparing yourself to present some materials on your campus, yeah, whether it is in English or in Bahasa, it's okay, yeah, but in this case, I will share you about how to prepare English presentation, successful presentation, okay? Let's start. Okay, what do you see from this picture, students? Yeah, you can see that it's a hamburger, right? Okay, do you like hamburger? Okay,
Yes.
I myself, I do not to like, yeah, I don't prefer hamburger. Yeah, but it's okay. We are not talking about the food. Yeah, we are talking about the part of the hamburger. As we know that hamburger consisted of bread, meat, and then perhaps cheese, yeah, and then what is it? Tomato or vegetable, and then bread, yeah. So by the presentation, yeah, presentation, each presentation consisted of introduction, body, and then conclusion. Any kinds of presentation, yeah, whether it is English or Bahasa or any kinds of language, the name of presentation consisted of three parts. Yeah, it is introduction, body, and conclusion. So talking about the organizing, the content of your presentation, it means that we use the hamburger method. Yeah, this part of hamburger method in introduction, the main body, and the conclusion. So these three parts of the presentation cannot be separated because it should be integrated one to another. It cannot separate it, yeah, without an introduction. You just present the main body, the main topic of your presentation. It's not so fun, yeah. And then without any conclusion, your presentation will be so poor because there is no any summary or conclusion of what are you talking about. Okay, so these three kinds of organizing the content of presentation adapted from the hamburger method, and then all these parts should be on your presentation. Yeah, so make sure when you want to present anything, yeah, be an introduction and then the main body and then the conclusion. It should be there, right? Then what's about the introduction? What kinds of thing that you have to prepare on your introduction during English presentation? Yeah, the first one, of course, is welcoming the audience. Yeah, the purpose of welcoming the audience, of course, is to welcome and then to respect to your audience for coming, for listening, for waiting you talking about something in front of the public. Yes, so you need to respect to what your audience did. It is by welcoming them. Yeah, and then the second one, after welcoming the audience, yeah, then you introduce yourself and then state your position. Introducing self means that you tell your name, even you think perhaps audience will know you, yeah, because you are so popular person or you are familiar person. around the audience, but it is usual to introduce your complete name. And then don't forget to state your position, whether you are a student of blah, 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 or maybe an officer of a company of blah, 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 or kinds of position. Yeah. And I have learned you last week how to state the name, your complete name, and then your major, your department, your faculty, and then what's the name of your university. Yeah. So please introduce yourself, your complete name, and your state position. If your position as a student, so tell it. Yeah. With a complete name, with the complete department, complete faculty, and then complete university. And then the third one is stating the purpose. Yeah, it is really important to state what's the objective, what is the aim of you are standing on your presentation, what you are talking about, what you are presenting about, what are you, what will you do. Yeah, so you have to tell, you have to inform your audience what you are going to speak about. Yeah. Besides, by stating the purpose of your presentation, uh, it will open your audience mind and ready for the topic that you are going to talk about, and they will try to engage. They will try to intern the topic that you are going to talk with their mind. Yeah. And then the fourth one, after stating the purpose of your presentation, don't forget to present an outline. Yeah, some of the presenters, yeah, forgot to present an outline. The outline here means that some clues that what kind of topic, what kind of things that you are going to talk. Yeah, some of the presenters perhaps forget to show the slide of the outline of their presentation. Yeah, but it is really kind of you if you share your outline about what you are talking about. Then the audience can predict how is about the material that you are going to talk, and then uh, they can estimate how long will the presentation held on later. Okay. And then it will help you as a presenter to remember, to remind, yeah, to remind kinds of clues of your presentation. Yeah. And then the fifth one is about capturing listeners' attention. Yeah, capture. Okay, captures here means to get your listeners' attention, because uh, talking or doing speaking or doing English presentation in front of the public, it means that you need listeners' attention, right? If you present something in front of the public and nobody wants to listen to your presentation, what will happen? Wow, it will be so boring, right? So, as a good presenter, you need to capture listeners' attention. You need your attention from your audience. Yeah, you may ask by giving question, or telling funny story, or giving command, or saying humorous anecdote, or telling unusual or interesting facts, and also telling about statistics about the topic, something great, something important regarding to your topic. Okay, so in this part of introduction of your presentation, make sure that welcoming the audience, introducing yourself and your position, and then stating the purpose, and then presenting an outline and the ways to capture listeners' attention, all there, right? Let's see. How is the way in English to welcome your audience? Yeah, you may say any kinds of these words or this sentence to welcome your audience well. You may say, first of all, let me thank you First of all, let me thank you all for coming here today. Or, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the formal one, right? Or, I'm happy, I'm delighted that so many of you could make it today. I hope you all had a pleasant journey here today. Or, it's a pleasure to welcome you today. Or, it's good to see you all here. Or, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming along here today. Or, on behalf of the company, I'd like to welcome you. Or, thank you all very much for coming today. Or, welcome everyone to this conference, to this discussion, to this presentation. These all ways are for welcoming the audience, and you can choose one of them. Which one is the most familiar with you all? Yeah, sometimes as a presenter, our mind is blank to say something. Yeah, we forgot about something. You want to welcome the audience, but you forgot how's the way. So you may choose the simplest one, just saying perhaps good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure, yeah, that you are right, correct to state to greet your audience. Yeah, if it is less than 12 e.m. Yeah, 12 e.m. So just saying good morning. Yeah, don't do the opposite thing. And then if it is more than 12 p.m., yeah, you may say good afternoon. Usually the formal presentation no more than afternoon. Yeah, it is so scarcely that the presentation held on in the evening. Yeah, so good morning or good afternoon will be custom. Okay, so this is the way how to welcome your audience. You may choose one of them. Okay, then after welcoming your audience as as what is it, recognition of your audience, or to respect to your audience, then the next step is introduce yourself and state your position. What are you there for? What are you talking there for? Yeah, so you may state, yeah, you may introduce by saying, for example, these kinds of sentence. My name is Susan Febriantina. I'm responsible for this office. I'm in charge of manager of this company, for example. Yeah, you may state your position. Yeah, in informing your name, just try to inform your complete name here, and then responsible for example, your main job, maybe as a secretary, or maybe as a director, maybe as manager of what, and I'm in charge of PT blah blah blah, or the company of, or some organization, yeah, that you are there. Okay, or the other way, you may state, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Susan Febriantina. Yeah, this is to inform that if you are worried that your audience don't know your name. So this is the first meeting for you and your audience. So you may state like this. Okay. And then the third one, as you know, I'm in charge of public relation in this company. Now, you may tell your audience your main job here. Yeah. And then the fourth one, you may state, let me introduce myself. I'm Susan Febriantina, or my name, Susan Febriantina. I work at Faculty of Economics, Universitas Negeri Jakarta, it at bachelor degree of office administration education, for example, or any kinds of department you are there. Okay, and then the next Example, you may state, let me just start by introducing myself. Then you introduce my name or I'm with your complete name. Or, as some of you know, I'm the manager of blah, 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 for example, right? Or, I'm here in my function as the head of PT blah, 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 for example. Or, I'd like to introduce my college if you want to introduce your partner, even in a presentation. Yeah, because in presentation, perhaps you will present with your partner, not only by you yourself. So you may introduce your colleague or your partner here. So this way, these statements are some expression that you may introduce, that you can introduce yourself and state your position or function. Okay. And then the other step or the other expressions that you can do are something like this. Okay. The next, I would like to take this opportunity to talk to you about. You may say blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I would like to take this opportunity to talk to you about leadership, for example. Okay. And then the second one, I'll be proposing, presenting about blah, blah, blah. All right. And then the third one, I will outline blah, blah, blah. Or I'm delighted to be here today to tell you about blah, 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 your topic. Or I'm going to talk about blah, blah, blah. This is the simples. Yeah. This is the simplest way. I'm going to present about, right? This is the simple one and is usual. Then in today's presentation, I'd like to explain to you how to blah, blah, blah. Or in today's presentation, I'm hoping to blah, blah, blah. I'm hoping to give you an update on blah, blah, blah. Or I'm hoping to give you an overview about or of blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And the last one, in today's presentation, I'm planning to explain about, yeah, these kinds of expression could be used to state your purpose, yeah, to state the topic that you are going to explain or to present. Now gone. Okay. Or students, to introduce your presentation topic and state your position, your purpose, yeah, you may state some these expressions too. For example, ladies and gentlemen, my objective or my aim, my purpose, my goal is to blah, 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 determine how blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you may use this one. Or the second one, the purpose of my presentation today is to inform you about blah, blah, blah. Or this evening, I'd like to report on my study about blah, blah, blah. This is kinds of study presentation, yeah, perhaps with your college, your partner. And then the fourth one, this morning, I'd like to present our new innovation, for example, yeah, about blah, blah, blah. Or the next, today, I'm here to talk to you about, this is the simplest one too. Yeah, I'm here to talk to you about. Or what I want to do this morning is tell you about, what I want to do this morning is to show you about blah, blah, blah. And then what I like to do this morning is present the results of my study of blah, 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 for example. Yeah. So there are many expressions that you may use to introduce your presentation, these kinds of topic, and state your purpose. All right. Ah, then the next step after stating, after introduce yourself and then state your position and then present your topic, then what should you do next is presenting an outline. Yeah, show your outline presentation briefly. Usually it is only one slide because it will help you to guide your presentations well. You give some clues and you tell your audience about the clues that you are going to talk about. You may state or you may you may inform the outline by saying, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll begin by blah, 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 and then blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Or, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to present an outline. I will blah, blah, blah. Finally, I'll blah, blah, blah. This is the example. Or, first of all, I will present about blah, 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 and then I will continue by blah, blah, blah. And then to finish, I will inform about blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So these kinds of ways you may use to present the short outline. Remember, to present your outline, make sure your outline is only one slide, no more than one slide. Because if it is more than one slide, it means that you have entered to the main of your presentation. Okay. Then, how is the effective way to open your presentation? Yeah, some of the presenters do not know how to open your presentation, how to open the presentation well. So, as a good presenter, we need to know that the first 3 minutes of the presentation are the most important. So, guys, you need to pay attention of the first 3 minutes of your presentation because your first 3 minutes of your presentation will determine whether your presentation will be so great, will be successful or not, will be boring or not. Yeah, so make sure your audience got the first impression of you, which is good. A good first impression. Oh, when you be the presenter and you try to make your first 3 minutes so amazed, then your audience will think that you are so a great presenter on that time, and they will really appreciate of you about that. Yeah, so make sure you use the first 3 minutes of your presentation. Perhaps you may do something and I will explain it detailed later. Okay, one of the way to maximize your first 3 minutes of your presentation is hooks technique. All right, hooks are simple techniques for getting the immediate attention of the audience. Do you ever watch the movie of Captain Hooks and the Peter Pan? Yes, I was there. When I was young, when I was at around student of my bachelor degree, I watched the movie of Captain Hooks and the Peter Pan. Yeah, this was a great movie, I think, and I love it. So I can see that the Captain Hooks only has one hand, and his left hand is like hooks, like this. This is the hooks. Yeah. Okay. Or in Bahasa we said kail. So the effective way to open your presentation, you may use the technique of hooks, technique kail. Yeah. Okay. How is the technique of hooks? Let me tell you later. How to hook your presentation? you may give your audience some question that will encourage your audience about the topic. For example, by asking, ladies and gentlemen, did you know that blah, 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 yeah, blah, blah, blah here regarding to your topic, regarding to your main topic about, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that the COVID-19 recently has been blah, 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 blah. Yeah, by asking, did you know that? By giving questions such this, it means that you try to encourage attention of your audience. Come on, please join with me for talking, for observing, for doing the discussion about this topic. Yeah, this is giving the readiness for the audience to with you in your topic. Or the second one, by saying, ladies and gentlemen, suppose that you are the victims of a COVID-19 pandemic, for example. Yeah, so you ask your audience to imagine to be one of the actress or the actor on what you are talking about. Okay, and the third one, you may say, ladies and gentlemen, according to the latest study, it will be so scientific because you talk about latest study according to the latest journal, according to the latest research. Yeah, you may say that based on the data. Or the fourth one, ladies and gentlemen, statistics shows that it will convince your audience that what you are going to talk is really scientific, is not only a theory, but it has been proven, it has been researched before. Okay, and then the next one, you may ask by this question, have you ever wondered why is it that? Have you ever wondered why is it this? Okay, or I read somewhere the other day that blah, blah, blah is regarding to your topic. Or how many people here this morning? You may ask that. Then you try to count your participants, your audience. This is to hook your presentation, to get your audience attention. Or you may say, well, ladies and gentlemen, imagine, oh, ladies and gentlemen, I remember when. Then you tell about some story regarding that relevant with what you are going to talk on your presentation. Or, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever been in the situation where blah, 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 blah. So you ask your audience, ever been there, or maybe ever have not ever been there, but let's try to be there. Okay, and then the last one, you may say, if I could show you that blah, 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 would you be interested? If I could show you that the topic about what, would you be interested? Then you ask your audience whether they will be so interested to join to talk about your topic or not. All right. So this sum expression, this question is to hook your presentation, to get your audience attention. Next. Now, as we know that hooks is a simple technique for getting the immediate attention of the audience. How's the way? You can give them a problem to think about, not giving question, but give them a problem to think about. Please think with me. Think about this problem. Come on. Yeah. You may say like this. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine. Do you think that's possible? Blah, blah, blah. For example, ladies and gentlemen, imagine that you were in this situation. Do you think that's possible? Okay. Or the other way, by give them some amazing facts. Yeah, after give them problem, you may give your audience amazing fact that will make your audience wow or amazed with the fact that you show them. By telling, ladies and gentlemen, the statistics shows that, and then you tell about the statistic result, or you tell about the recent research relevant with the topic, it will amaze your audience, I think. Okay, and then the third one, by give them a story or personal anecdote. Telling a story or personal anecdote to your audience during a presentation is okay. It means that you want to ask your audience include on a story, perhaps life story or your experience or your personal experience or your personal anecdote. This is, you may say, ladies and gentlemen, I remember when I was young, when I was a little girl, I blah, 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 blah. Then you try to connect your story, your personal story on your topic. Do you understand? So you may use these three ways, yeah, by give your audience problem to think or amazing facts or personal anecdote or story. Let's see the example. Then look at the presentation openings below and identify them, whether they are problems, amazing facts, or stories. So I will show you the example how to open a presentation. Okay, and then try to identify them, whether it is kind of problems, amazing facts, or stories. Okay, the first one. If the presenter open the presentation by saying these kinds of sentence, what kind of opening presentation kind is it? Is it problems, amazing facts, or stories? Let me read it for you. For example, ladies and gentlemen, did you know how much do Japanese companies spend on entertaining clients in a year? It is $40 billion. That's 4 times than the entire GDP of Bulgaria. You could buy General Motors for the same money. So, what kinds of presentation opening is it? Is it kinds of problem, amazing fact, or stories? Try
Amazing
to
fact.
guess. Okay, how do you know it is amazing fact?
Because
Because
they are facts
there
in
are some facts. Where is the fact?
the sentence that say $40 billion, ma'am.
$40 billion. It is $40 billion. That's 4 times than the entire GDP of Bulgaria, right? Okay, good. What about number 2? I'll read it for you.
As problems.
Okay. Suppose your advertising budget was cut by 99% tomorrow. How would you promote your product? So the presenter want to try to give problem. If you are in this problem, how would you be? How would you promote? How would our company promote our product, right? That's great. Next, what about number 3? I'll read it for you. According to the latest study, by 2050, only 1 in every 4 people in Western Europe will be going to work, and 2 will be old age pensioners. So what kinds of opening presentation is it? Problems,
Stories, ma'am.
amazing facts, or stories?
Stories, ma'am.
Stories. How do you know it is stories? Make sure. The keywords is according to the latest study. If you talk about the latest study, it must be something scientific, right? It's something has been researched, right? It's something has been studied scientifically by the expert. So, what kinds of this one? Yes, it's an
Amazing
problems.
fact.
That's right. It's amazing fact because there is a fact has been explored, has been studied, has been researched before, right? Okay, good. What about the fourth one? Okay, I'll read it for you. I read in the newspaper that the world's highest paid executive works for Disney and gets $230 million a year. Now, that's about $2,000 a minute. So what kind of opening presentation is it? You may see the keywords about the million, about 2000, it's about numbering. Problems, amazing fact, or stories? Why don't you think it's a problem? Because it's not problem for some kinds of people, right? Perhaps some people don't think it's a problem. It's not my problem. It's not the problem, right? What about the stories? If it is stories, it will relate to personal stories, to personal experience, and this sentence also do not relate with the personal experience. So it is kinds of amazing fact about the number, right? Newspaper, okay? These are keywords of amazing fact. What about number 5? I'll read it. When I think about creativity, I'm reminded of the man who invented the microwave oven. He spent years messing around with radar transmitters. Then at least the chocolate in his pocket was starting to melt. What kinds of opening? The presenter open their
Stories, ma'am.
presentation. How do you know it's a story? Because the keyword is I'm reminded, right? I'm reminded, saya diingatkan. Or I remind, saya teringat, right? So these 5 sentences, you may take them as an example how to open your presentation by giving your audience problem, amazing fact, or story. Yes, you can do that, right? Now, how to get people's attention? As I told you at the first, if you present about something and your audience didn't care of you are talking about, they don't care with your presentation, how do you feel? It's so poor, right? Will be a poor presentation. Nobody listen you, nobody want to care about you are talking about. So what are you standing there for? What are you talking there for if people didn't care about it? So it is important for a presenter to get people's attention, to attract the people's attention. Okay. Then how do you say? How do you say your feeling? Yeah. How do you say that you need their attention? And it is okay to be asked. For example, well, ladies and gentlemen, if I could have everybody's attention, please, everybody, please attention. It's like that, okay? So you ask your audience attention. It's really kind. Or second one, ladies and gentlemen, if we can start, please. It means that, oh, come on, ladies and gentlemen, come on, audience. Let's start again. Let's focus again on this topic. Okay. Or, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps we should begin. You ask your opinion. Okay. And then the fourth one, this is so custom as usual. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. Let's get started our presentation. Let's get started our discussion. Okay. And then the next one, I have invited you here today to have a look at my findings. You may ask that you are here to get, okay, to get, in order your audience get your findings, curious about your findings. Or you may say, ladies and gentlemen, now let me begin by, okay, yeah, these kinds of expression may used to get your people's attention during your presentation. Wait a minute. Then I will ask you, wait a minute first. Okay. I want to show you. Can you see the YouTube? Students, can you see?
Not yet. No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Wait a minute. I'll try to share. What about now? Can you see?
Not yet, ma'am. Belum.
How is it?
Sudah, sudah.
Wow, we are really international today. I see some of people are from other countries, and I know that there are some German people who are feeling foreigners living in Stuttgart. And it can be also true that you just found a job in foreign country, or maybe you are preparing your international studies. Well, if that's the case, then I have a story for you. It is about how to make global working life successful. Before beginning my story, here's who I am. As you see, I'm Korean. I know we all look Chinese to you, but I'm but I'm Korean and I'm working for a French company in Germany for German-speaking countries. Before this, I have lived in Seoul, Korea. Later, I moved to Vancouver, Canada. Afterwards, Paris in France for studies. For those years, I have learned and experienced a lot. Today, I would like to share my 3 success factors with you for your upcoming international assignment. So here are my 3 success factors. Let me go one by one. My first success factor is learning new language. Now, I have a question to you. Did you have fun learning the English alphabet when you were young? You did? I did too. When I was little, I had a lot of fun learning the English alphabet. We used to sing a song which goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Sorry about that. So learning English was for me a lot of fun. But when I came to Germany, everything changed. You know, in Germany, I learned ABCD is ABCD, and BMW is BMW. And most shockingly, Y is Upsilon. You see, for my work, I had to learn German, but for me, learning German was difficult, and then I couldn't have fun learning it. And one day, I found this. I guess many of you know what it is. It is crime series that many German people love watching it. When I first discovered Talot, I couldn't understand much, but I knew this is gonna change my life. Because since I was a little girl, I was crazy about watching crime series. So I decided to learn German by watching Talot. So I told my friend Sandra about my plan, and she said, that is great. You know, there is this local bar in Stuttgart where so many people gather, to watch Talot on Sunday. So I went to this bar, and I was fascinated to see this place. There was this big screen, and then there was this bar for beer, and so many people. And it looked like, movie theater, but we didn't need to pay for the ticket. So we went to this place every Sunday. There are some people who go to church every Sunday, but we went to this local bar every Sunday. So afterwards, my German became a lot better. because learning German was not difficult anymore. Learning German became a lot more fun. So when you learn new language, I would recommend you to find your own tarot. I mean, to find something that you could really enjoy it. Because as we all know, and as Confucius says, we learn things faster when we enjoy it. Now, it is my second success factor. It is about searching out the best practices. Let's imagine that you are already in your new country and you can also speak the new language. But you may encounter some obstacles in your foreign countries. My case, I experienced some emotional ups and downs. You see, in my company, I was the only non-native German-speaking person. And I didn't feel comfortable that I didn't understand everything. And then I couldn't speak like other people do. Then I wonder how other people are doing in their foreign countries. So I started searching, and then I found so many wonderful people who have been successfully managing their international career. There are around 10 people who really inspire me along my journey, but I'm going to tell you about 3 people today. The first person is Daniel. He's from Germany, and he's been living in Korea for many years. In fact, he's pretty famous, and he's known as German gentleman in Korea because he's pretty sympathetic person. I mean, in English, people like him. Second person is Daru. She is from Finland. She's also living in Korea. When I saw her on TV first time, I thought she's not Finnish person because she's talking like Korean and she's acting like Korean. She seemed like she's just local person. The third person is Ho Kyung. He's Korean person, and then he went to United States when he was teenager. And now he is one of the most successful medical doctor in the States. I read his book, and then I learned that his passion for his work made everything possible. So I learned the lessons from these people, and then I decided to apply these lessons into my daily life. See, 9 years ago, I was here. I was feeling emotional up and down. I was feeling homesick. I couldn't speak good German. But I wanted to go there. I wanted to have more success in the workplace. I wanted to be happier in my private life. So I decided to do 3 B's. My first B is be more sympathetic person. I wanted to become more sympathetic person at work. So I try to understand my colleagues at work. And then I remember their birthday and then we celebrate them together. My second B is be local. I wanted to be a local person. This doesn't mean that I wanted to be blonde girl. I mean, I wanted to understand German culture better. So I joined many German festivals, and then I watched almost all German movies, which is not many. My third B is be passionate. I thought about passion, and then I really thought about myself. What am I really passionate about at work? My answer was doing direct marketing instead of doing indirect marketing. I talked to my boss, and then I changed my responsibilities at work. So after changing myself by using these 3 B's, I was able to overcome my challenges, and then I achieved my goal. When you encounter some obstacles in your new countries, I would recommend you to find your own best practices. Then you will realize that you are not all alone in your foreign country. My third and last success factor, it is about finding a mentor. Have you ever felt that you really wanted to talk to somebody who is in the same situation as you are? I have. Along my journey, I really, really wanted to talk to somebody who has already gained some international career because I was looking for some practical advices. So I looked for my mentor, and then I found my current mentor. I call my current mentor as cross-cultural mentor because himself, he has also lived and he has also worked in many different countries. So he knew what I was supposed to focus on to achieve my goals. One day, I asked him for some advices, and he told me two things. Listen very carefully to every single member of company as if this person is the most important person on the planet. Second thing is focus on the strong point of the people. We all have strong point and weak point. But if you focus on the strong point of the people, you're gonna grow. That's what my mentor said. And my mentor said, these two rules apply not only to one culture, these two rules apply to every culture. It doesn't matter if you are in Japan or Korea. It doesn't matter if you are in France or in Germany. This applies to all the culture. When you look for your mentor in your foreign country, I would recommend you to find somebody who is in the similar situation as you are. Then your mentor will give you the best advices. So here's what I did. Every morning, when I went to my office, I took some quiet moment. So as my mentor said, I did some meditation, and I remember what he has said. After doing this exercise, my life has changed, and then I got promoted. So these were my 3 success factors. You see, 9 years ago, I came to Germany at my very, very late age. I came to the country where I had no friends or family members. 9 years later, I became senior marketing manager. I do marketing activities which generate sales pipeline of 10 million euros. When I look back my journey, it was not always easy. But if I can make it, you can make it too. And it is my wish that one of these 3 success factors can help you to succeed your journey in your international assignment. Now, I wish you good luck. Ich wünsche euch viel Glück. Danke.
Okay, then students, you can see, yeah, from the video just now from Sungaseo, which who present her best presentation with the title "How to Make Global Working Successful." You can see that how the presenter present the materials well, and she can attract audience attention by following his story, yeah, and impressed by her presentation well. So she prepare it well, then try to hypnotize the audience, then try to dip on what she is talking about. All right. So let's see to my presentation again. Wait a minute. It's rather difficult for me to open it. Okay, can you see my slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's move on to the expression, yeah, how to use visual aids. The expression to introduce and explain your visuals, if it means that if your presentation want to show about something that can be seen by your audience, you may say, well, ladies and gentlemen, please take a look at this. Okay. by saying, take a look at this. Take a look at this. It means that you need your audience attention to look on what you want to show. Then, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this. Or, I'd like you, ladies and gentlemen, to look at this. I'd like you to look at this. Okay? Or, ladies and gentlemen, here we can see that then you point perhaps your slide or your diagram or your statistic and else. Okay? And then you tell the blah, blah, blah represents blah, blah, blah. And the blah, blah, blah represents blah, blah, blah. For example, the diagram represents that blah, blah, blah. Okay? Or, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at this picture in more detail. For example, the picture, you want to show the picture. As you can see that blah, 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 blah. Okay? Or, I'd also like to draw your attention to think about, for example, yeah. So these kinds of expression to introduce and explain your visual, and you ask your audience to follow your instruction by look at something, perhaps picture, diagram, or statistic scale and else. This one. These kinds of puzzled sentence. What should you do now is write out the following sentence fragments in the correct order to make a complete presentation extract. Yeah, these kinds of presentation too, how to show, how to instruct something on your presentation, and this still puzzled. So would you please to arrange it first? Okay, I will give you at around 3 minutes to arrange this puzzled sentence so that you can combine them in one statement. Okay, ready? All right, 3 minutes from now on, go. Okay, have you finished? So what's the first thing? What number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
2, ma'am.
2, ma'am. 2, ma'am.
Okay, let's see. Have a look at this graph. As you can see, right? It's a very typical growth. So as a presenter, you ask your audience to look at the graph. You may say, ladies and gentlemen, have a look at this graph. Then you said, as you can see, It's a very typical growth curve for a young company in the early stages of its development. The vertical axis shows turnover in millions of dollars, and the horizontal axis represents the years 2001 to 2005. So yes, this is what I explained before. After pointing, yeah, a graph or picture or diagram, then you explain the meaning of this picture, the meaning of this diagram, and else. Okay, good. Now, then, what verbs do you use to talk about the following change and development? Sometimes on your presentation, especially business presentation, you need to mention some changing or development regarding to your materials. For example, this arrow. How do you say if you want to explain this situation? How to state it? Yes, that's right. You may say increase or rise. For example, if you are explaining about the victims of COVID-19, right? Regarding 2021 until this month, for example, it will increase or it is rise. Okay, you may say increase or rise. What about this one? Okay, the opposite of increase. What is the opposite of increase or rise? Yes, you may say decrease or fall to show that maybe the diagram, the pie chart, right, the statistic fall down. Okay, and then what about this one? It increased, but it's so sharply. How to say that? Yes, you may say it shoot up or it take off. It's like the plane, right? Okay. What about this one? The opposite of shoot up or take off. Yes, it's plump or slump. The condition that it's down sharply. Okay. What about this one? Sometimes on the graphic, you need to tell this situation, this condition, but how to state that? Up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like this, okay? So how to say this condition? Yes, it's fluctuate, okay? Fluctuation. Then how about this one? You want to show your graph, you want to explain your graph with this kinds of arrow. That's right. It's recover or pick up. Okay, recover or pick up. And what about this one? Okay, this is at the level of, yeah, perhaps your point or your, how is it? Your statistic at the level of, okay? And then the last, this one. How to state, how to define this arrow? Okay, it remains steady or stable, right? Okay. Then, how to develop your public speaking style to impress and influence your audience? Because as a good presenter, we need to know how's the way to get your public speaking. There are some style, there are some way to impress, because the first impression will be so urgent, as I told you at the first time. yeah, 3 or 7 minutes at the first, your presentation will impact on your successful or failed presentation. Okay, it's about the first one, clear articulation. Make sure that your articulation is correct. Articulation is when your mouth saying something, say a word, say a letter, A, E, U, A, O, A, B, C, D, right? A, B, C, D, O, it should be clear. Yeah, don't only say something that the audience will be so complicated, will be complex to be understood. Then, pausing in the right place. Stop your voice in the right place, especially in English. If you don't understand the meaning, right, perhaps you will be wrong to stop your sentence, to stop your explanation. So make sure you understand first what you are talking about, then you will pause in the right place. Okay, as a driver, yeah, if you are kinds of professional driver, then you will park your motor or maybe your car on the right place, right? Not in the forbidden area. Okay. Then the third one is about pitch control. Make sure before you present, you drill your pitch control. What is it? Sounds like voice management. Sometimes your voice on your presentation should be up, should be down, should be slow, should be high. Okay, so there are some variations and you have to manage it. You have to manage your voice. Then the second one is about dynamic communication. Dynamic communication means that your communication is not so static. It could be up, down. It could be two ways communication by asking your audience, by giving chance to the audience for thinking, right? For joining on your topic. And then what about this one? Keeping your voice up means telling the audience that you are in the middle of saying something and must not be interrupted. So it is a sign from a presenter to an audience that when I keep my voice up, it means please don't be interrupt me. Don't give me a question or don't stop me because my explanation has not been finished. Okay? But letting your voice drop means letting them know you have finished what you wanted to say. Okay? So in this case, we can see that when a presenter tries to let his or her voice drop, oh, she will end the presentation, right? He will end the presentation sooner after this, right? It's a symbol, guys. It's a sign from a presenter to the audience. Remember? So keep your voice up if you still want to explain more about the topic, about the materials. But if you want to finish your presentation, let your voice drop as a sign that my presentation will be finished sooner. Okay? Which of the following statement don't work? This is kinds of ways, some drills to make a presenter know how to pause in the right place. There are three options here, A, B, C. Which one is don't work and which one is correct? about pausing, about stop your breath, yeah, comma, dodge. Okay, so which one? Number one. Anybody want to try? Blah, blah, blah means that you pause for a while. This one, pause a while. Also this one, this one, this one, and then this one, this one, this one, and this one means pause a while. So, number one, anybody wants to try? Which one is correct? Or which one is not correct or incorrect?
I think the correct answer is A, ma'am.
Would you please to try to read it?
Sorry, ma'am.
Would you please to read part A if you choose option A by pausing in this?
The person who never made a mistake never made anything.
Okay, so you are comfortable to say it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Okay, so, yeah. We can see about this one. The person who never made a mistake, never made anything, it's incorrect, right? Both A and both B are correct. So, as your friend stated just now, yeah, the person who never made a mistake never made anything. So, in this gap, yeah, you try to take a breath for a while, pause a while. And also with the second one, why is it correct? How do you say this? The person who never made a mistake never made anything. Is it okay to say that, to pause that? Why not? Yeah, why not? This is correct because at the end of the presenter, perhaps a presenter want to clear her or his presentation as a quote, as the last statement of the presenter, and she does it. So both A and B are correct statements. You may pause in these two kinds of sentence, right? All right, thank you. Next. What about the second? Which of the following statements don't work or incorrect? Only one is incorrect. Anybody wants to try again? Maybe from the ladies.
I think the statement that don't work is choice B, ma'am.
Okay. Would you please to read A and C?
The choices A says big companies are small companies that succeed. And the choices C, big companies are small companies that succeed.
All right, because it is impossible to choose B, right? Big companies are small companies that succeeded, right? It will be incorrect. So the correct one is A and B. A and C, sorry, A and C are the correct one to pause, right? Okay. Then what about number 3? Which one is don't work or incorrect? A, B, C. Anybody of you want to try?
Yang B, ma'am.
Okay, this one. So would you please choose state part A and C?
The choices A says, hard work never killed anybody, but worrying about it did. And C
And then,
says, hard work never killed anybody, but worrying about it did. I don't know actually.
okay, this one, okay. This one is false. Why? Coba try to state part B.
Hard work never killed anybody, but worrying about it did.
Okay, you're correct. Yeah, part A and B is the right pausing because perhaps, as I told you, the presenter want to underline, want to point, want to clear about the last statement. Yeah, that the presenter has her own or his own style to underline, to sum up, to make something bold, perhaps the quote. And these kinds of statement are the quotes, right? Okay, thank you. Now, what about this one? Practice your articulation, pausing, and pitch control by reading the following presentation extract. This is the drilling for you all. But let's skip it, yeah, because of the limited time. Let's move to the next slide. Okay. How to develop your public speaking style too, yeah? Okay. By further techniques. Okay. The first one is using rhetorical question. You present your ideas as question rather than direct statement. So, giving question to your audience will be so effective to impress or to influence your audience. Rhetorical question, giving question. The point is, right? It's like this. Okay, this one. But what are the advantages? It's suppose that the presenter is as like a presenter want to ask you to join on the problem, on the topic, right? This is some example of rhetorical question. Then the second one, using dramatic contrast. Something contrast and you made it dramatically. You tell it dramatically. Then it will impress, then it will amaze your audience. Perhaps like this. Ladies and gentlemen, 10 years ago, we had a reputation for excellence, right? But today, we are in danger of losing that reputation. Oh, how can you imagine if a presenter inform you about the success of your company, for example, 10 years ago, and then oppositely in this today's condition, it is opposite of what you are talking about. Yeah, so there should be pro and contra. Yeah, this is using dramatic contrast. Something is not like the real one. We hope something, but in fact, okay, something contrast. And this called dramatic contrast. Okay. Then the third one is tripling technique. Triple from the word 3 times. Yeah, triplings mean that, this is the example. Ladies and gentlemen, what's needed now is time, effort, and money. So this is the tripling, time, effort, and money. So the presenter want to point that time, effort, money is really urgent. And these 3 words, time, effort, money, are compound. or selaras, setara, right? Okay. Next, how to deal with questions. Okay, after doing the presentation, perhaps on a presentation, you or as a presenter will be asked by your audience, right? And then you open discussion session, question and answer session, right? So how to deal with some questions? There are 4 basic types of questions. And then you need to identify what kind of questions is it from your audience, right? The first one, perhaps, good questions. Good question. How to face it, how to deal with good questions. If you think that your audience asks it to you because they don't want to know more, because they think that you are the presenter, and then you talk about this one, it means that you master about this expertise. The first thing that you have to do is thank your audience for asking you, right? Remember, thanking your audience for asking you, it means that you give them a respect, you give them appreciation, and it will be a good image of you. Then they will help you to get your message across the audience better. Yeah, it will help you as a presenter to get your message. If there's something not clear, then you can clarify, or maybe you can explain it more, and you think it's a good question. Okay. And then the second, sometimes we also face difficult situation, right? When you face this such question, don't feel uncomfortable, don't be nervous. Okay, but most of us feeling nervous, right? Oh, how do I answer this question? Oh, it is so difficult for me. Oh, I haven't read this such of question. And then you are panic, right? Oh, please don't do that. So what should you do? Yeah, these are the ones that you can't or prefer not to answer. Say if you don't know, it is truly you don't know. And then you may offer to find out or ask the questioners what they think. It is no problem for a presenter if you don't know the answer, then you ask back to your audience to ask your audience opinion about the case, about the problem, about the questions. Okay? And that's normal because the presenter is not the only source of the topic. Yeah. So it is normal. Then, what about unnecessary questions? Sometimes on your presentation, your audience give you something not important to be asked. But as a good presenter, you have to face it, right? So, what should you do? You convince yourself that you have already given this information just now, right? So, point this out. Just answer briefly again and move on. Don't take long to answer or to explain again because you have already given. Okay. And then what about irrelevant question? Yes, sometimes the audience asks the presenter something not relevant, something not related to the topic, right? Or it's out of the topic. But again, as a good presenter, we have to face it. You have to recognize it. You have to respect. So try not to sound rude. Just move on. Okay, this is the simple way not to sound rude. And then you can move on into the next question. Okay. All right. So let's see. If you give some appreciation to your audience by telling, oh, good point, ladies and gentlemen. What kind of question is it? Good question, difficult question, unnecessary question, or irrelevant question? I'm, as a presenter, give an appreciation to my audience. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that's good point. Oh, thank you, good point. What kind of question does what kind of question is the audience give to me? Yes, it should be good question, right? If it is good question, then you appreciate your audience. Good point, boy. Good point, lady, right? And then what about the second one? Well, as I mentioned earlier, what kind of question that your audience give to you? Mentioned earlier, that's the keyword. Yes, it's unnecessary question. Yeah, if your audience asks you with something not important, you may answer, well, as I mentioned earlier, then you explain briefly, then move on. As the previous one, I explained, okay? And then the third one, interesting. What do you think? What kind of questions? Okay, difficult question. Yeah, if you want difficult question, then you may give some appreciation to the questioner, to the audience. Interesting, that's nice topic. What do you think? Then you give back the question that you think I can't answer, but I can share this question, this difficult question with others, and it is okay, right? And then the fourth one, I'm afraid I don't have that information with me. Ah, it's so, be honest. I'm afraid I don't have that information with me. Is it okay? Yes, it's okay. It's rare to say that you don't know something and perhaps you will find out later, or perhaps you can ask your audience about the information. Yes, if you find difficult situation. Again, number 5. To be honest, I think that raises a different issues. What kind of question? If you say like this, that's
Irrelevant
right.
question.
Good. Irrelevant question. Just let it go. Just move on, right? Okay. And then, students, how to end your presentation? Yeah. After doing the discussion, after doing the question and answer session, perhaps you will then go to the ending your presentation. Yeah. Don't forget to summarize the key takeaways. For example, well, ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 things that I'd like you to remember from my today's presentation. First, about blah, 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 and then the second, blah, blah, blah. Okay, these examples are to sum up, yeah, to summarize the key takeaway. All right, this is to review all your materials. Or the second step, and with a CTA. CTA is the abbreviation of call to action. It means that you are, as a presenter, also a good motivator. You ask your audience to do something, okay, by saying, for example, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very passionate about leadership, so I challenge you to be a good leader anyway of you, for example. Yeah, so you may say, I'm very passionate about, I challenge. By saying challenge, I challenge you, it means that the presenter call the audience to do something, to action. Then the third one, use a relevant quote. Yeah, use a relevant quote as tripling or as the previous before. I like to end my presentation, ladies and gentlemen, with one of my favorite quotes. You may take your favorite quotes. Okay, it is okay. Then, these kinds of quote that you can use when you do the presentation, right? For example, from John F. Kennedy or whatever, yeah. And then you can pause on the correct one. Okay, or this one is Plato, or maybe the other from Lincoln, yeah, or Henry Ford. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together, how is it? Is success. Okay, sounds like this is to end your presentation. Then to sum up, you may state in conclusion. Yeah, the example above show a good conclusion for in short, to summarize, overall, finally, in closing, lastly, it means that you will end your presentation. Now, this is the simple example of Huli presentation, short presentation from the first one, from the greetings, and then introducing, and then stating your purpose, yeah, and then main body of your presentation, and then asking, and then sum up, and then thanking, and your presentation. Okay. All right. PJ, would you please to turn off the recording? Thank you so much.